Greetings fellow adventurers, I'm Amy and today we'll talk about an anime universal made. Can you believe that? I was speechless. This anime called Arte is literally a masterpiece. So if you have a dream but there are certain things on your way, watch this video until the end because I hope you find some inspiration. And if you want to skip straight to the life lessons, make sure to check out the timestamps on my description. Arte is an anime that tells the story of Arte, a noble girl who could have an easy life marrying to a rich man. However, she realized her happiness would be doing something she loved, and this thing was art. She loved painting, drawing, and she soon gave up all her life to follow her dreams. Her journey wasn't easy. She had to prove herself countless times, but she never gave up. Actually, the first lesson we are going to see is what took her out of her comfort zone and led her to a path full of fulfillment. So let's check it out. If I am going to regret either way, I want to regret doing something I want to do. This phrase made me think if the anime was properly translated, as initially doesn't make a lot of sense. But the main lesson here is that we can regret anything in life. But when in doubt, choose a path that aligns with what you want. We all have our passions, our talents, our dreams, and a life where we don't put these things out there is not really worth it. Arte realized she'd rather live a life where she could practice what she loved every day than marrying a stranger. In real life, we can translate that for a job that we hate and a job that actually brings us joy. I know people who left jobs in a company to follow their dreams, on working in a kitchen for example. It takes some time for us to understand, but one day we all realize that our mental health and a life full of fulfillment comes from doing things that we love and not necessarily doing things that brings us a lot of money. The world has no right to determine our limits. Arte was very bullied for being a girl in a profession full of men, but she never let her gender limit her in any way. At the beginning she wished she was a man, but with time she realized because she was a woman, she had her own strengths. However, it's also important to highlight that also made her work twice as hard, to the point where even men had to say, that would have been hard even for us, or I could not do it. I think gender is something that can bring us a lot of challenges. I personally felt I had to fight to be heard many times at work in a place usually full of men. I could literally feel I wasn't being taken into consideration. But I won't say men don't go through the same thing. I think many times women invalidate men's feelings because they're under the impression they should be strong all the time. So the lesson here is that we will probably have to fight harder when the world tries to limit us. But at the end, if we don't give up, we will eventually realize that the only minute that can truly stop us is ourselves. Love can get in the way. Have you ever felt in love to the point where you could not concentrate? Well, Arte felt the same thing with Leo, and that truly got in the way of her work. Love is indeed a magical feeling and it's amazing to feel it, but the same way that we should not let work interfere on our personal life, we should not let love interfere with our work. Our productivity is important, so instead of getting distracted with your feelings during your work hours, what do you think about using it as a motivation? The quicker you finish something, the quicker you will be able to meet with the person you love. I think at the end of the day, subjects like this are truly a matter of balance and perspective. Skill and hard work are key factors for success. I know what you're thinking. What about the talented people? Yes, they do exist, but everyone gets rusty with no practice. If you are not naturally born talented, you can build your talent by improving your skills through hard work. I know it's easier said than done, but effort can lead to perfection, and you will never know if you don't try. Arte was constantly practicing, and she would not lose sight of what truly mattered. When she realized she was doing too much babysitting, she worked herself until she felt exhausted. And as far as that's not recommended, the lesson that stays with us is that if we turn a skill into a habit, 50% of the path to success is already completed. Never force your way into others. When Arte was taking care of Katarina, she realized she was forcing her ways into her and eventually apologized for it. This is an extremely important lesson. How many times do people try to force their way on us? And how many times do you do the same to others? This behavior is extremely annoying and should be avoided. It's fine if you state facts during a conversation, but we need to always respect the other person's space and opinion, even if we disagree. People will open up when they feel like it, so make sure to do your part and wait for it. Find your worth. We already discussed that Arte spent a good time of the series wishing to be a man, but at some point she also desired to not be a noble. It took some time, but at the end she finally realized that she should not feel sorry for what makes her different. Instead, she could be proud of it. Because of her difference, she could see the world in a different way. Her art was different because she was different, and once she embraced that, she finally found her worth. In life, people don't accept well their own limits and stories. It feels like they're always trying and fighting and wondering why their lives are so different than others. But as Arte did, as soon as people stop fighting their reality, the quickest they will find their way to their own happiness. Be humble. One of the things I loved the most about Arte was her desire to keep by Leo's side. And she did that not only because she loved him, but because she realized he had more experience than her and could still teach her loads of things. Do you realize how beautiful is that? In real life, people don't like to recognize too much when someone else is better than them or that they actually could learn a thing or two from them. But Arte was wise and humble, so she could realize these things and find even a better version of herself. She truly teaches us the importance of being humble and that recognizing someone else's experience actually takes us one step closer to them. So, have you watched Arte? What did you like the most? I personally love how she never gave up besides all the odds. It's true that she had to fight more than a lot of people, but that just made her journey even more rewarding. So think about that. Sometimes life is hard, but that just means that the reward will be very worth it. Well guys, that's it for today's video. If you heard something relevant, please support the channel with your like and subscribe. If you think this video can help someone else, please share. If you feel like it, check out the form on my description, and I'll see you next time.